Food Service Power Plant Network. Oh my gosh, it's Wednesday night. It is so great to be back. I've been traveling for work and I felt a little disconnected out of it. So it is so good to be back home, to come back into a storm, although I made it home okay, and to be joining you tonight. You are going to love tonight, frankly. There's no doubt. Wade Koehler he owns Forte Association Management, their management association management company. And then he's the executive director of FCSI, which is the consultant side of our industry. So regardless of what part of the industry you're in, you might be running a restaurant, you might be a rep, you might be a distributor or manufacturer. FCSI are the consultants. So they're designing the projects, they're doing the drawings, they're working with the architects and everything. So they kind of have like first light of what's coming down the road. They're seeing it before we even know something exists more often than not. So he is joining us tonight, and Wade is frankly nothing. I mean, fun, I think, will be the word that defines tonight. We're going to have a blast. So a couple points for you to remember. One, we're coming to you live on Facebook through a platform called StreamYard. And you can make comments. You can say, Wade and Jason, you guys are lame. If you think so, whatever. If you have questions for Wade, I want your questions. We would love to hear anything that you want to know about consultants, about him, about whatever you've got. Throw it in. Wade is an open book, and I love people like that who are just willing to be authentic. So you're welcome to throw questions in. If you want us to see your name, go to StreamYard/Facebook and just type in your name, and then we'll see who's commenting. Otherwise, I'm going to be on my phone here, and I will be kind of looking to see if we can figure out who you are, etc. So those are really the talking points. You're going to have a blast tonight. It's great to see you. Let's go find Wade. You're not lame, bro. Oh, someone's saying, man, the love is coming through. Look at this. And I'm somebody's bro. That just like makes my day. I love that. Let's go bring on Wade. Where is he?
Hey.
Yo, brother.
What's up?
What up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Having a great day.
I believe it.
Amongst the rain of Central Illinois, I will take it based on what's going on in the South, but it's a dreary day, but it's still been a great day.
Good. I love that it's been a great day. Are you typically it's a great day guy?
No.
Okay.
Nah. I'm kind of the half glass empty. I kind of look at, I guess probably that's the meeting planner in me. I'm always looking for the what is wrong, what can go wrong type person. I drive my staff crazy with playing devil's advocate to a lot of things, but I look at it as I try to treat everybody really good. So let me be honest about that. I like to joke around a lot, but it is a lot of fun. I like to have a lot of fun. I take a lot of things very serious and a lot of things not very serious. But I look at it with my staff, and even with friends and with some board members and such. I figure if you can defend it to me, you can defend it to anybody, because I'll come at you with a devil's advocate pretty hard. And my staff does that with me too. I've been very fortunate that a couple of my staff members have been with me for a very long time. Penny, who works for me, has been with me, I think, for 7 years now. She pulls no punches with me, which I absolutely love. So she keeps me on the straight and narrow and says when I'm being, nice, when I'm being a jerk, or when I'm being just me. So, and in between.
Yeah, I would say I don't think you as a jerk. Were you ever in debate or anything? I mean, I would think having that, you'll look at it from a bunch of ways. I mean, you're the kind of person that I want to come to now when I'm like vetting out an idea, to be like, Wade, find the holes in this, man.
Well, first of all, I love doing that. I probably would have been in debate, but my high school, my graduating class was 63, and it was the largest to ever go through our high school. I think the class after us might have been 38. Wow. And so that's typically what a size of a class was. So we didn't have a lot of extracurricular activities like that. I will say that my wife is incredibly intelligent, likes to debate. So we have some good, healthy conversations. And my son, who is 17, is in the mock trial of high school, and he loves a good debate as well. My daughter just looks at me and tells me I'm stupid. That's a
Well,
typical 17-year-old daughter for you as well.
well, I know what I have
Yeah,
to look
your
forward to.
dad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
you do.
My daughter's
Yeah.
at 12, and the eye rolling has certainly began. We've got, oh, look at this. Deirdre Flynn is on saying you're a realist, is what you are. Nailed it.
I am. I see. I call it like it is. I do. Sometimes people don't like that, and that's okay with me. I mean, as long as we can be adults in the room and talk and respect each other's opinions, I think we miss some of that in the industry, and we miss some of that in the world right now. But I'm not. I'm okay with agreeing to disagree and knowing that. And I love to learn other people's views on things. I don't think I'm the smartest person in the world at all, or even in this room. So
Yeah, no, but you give it like it is. I appreciate that because I
yeah.
like to know where I stand. If I think I'm an 8 out of 10 with you, Wade, and I'm a 4 in your book, then I need to know that so I know there's things to work on. Bill Dolan
Yeah.
is in the house. Kevin Coachman is in the house. Rick Palmer D
Nice.
is on. Oh my gosh, Warren Manzer is in the house. Hello, everybody. This is a blast. Okay, Wade, you've got a fun story, and you've been in different things to get to where you are right now. Tell us, you're currently the executive director of FCSI, the consultants.
Mm-hmm.
You
Correct.
own an association management organization. Let's start with what's your journey? You didn't just graduate high school and end
No,
up here.
no. As a matter of fact, I stumbled into this career. And realistically, I bounced around after college. I went to a couple different jobs. I worked at a country club as assistant manager. I worked at Enterprise Rent a Car. I worked at a couple things in Central Illinois. There weren't a lot of jobs available in to date myself in 1995.
Okay.
And so, well, let me back up too. I graduated from college one Saturday and got married the next Saturday. So we kind of planned that out to where we were ready to start our lives together. So, but I didn't have a very good job at the time, and so we moved to Louisville, Kentucky, where my extended family was from. My mom grew up there. All of my aunts and uncles, my grandparents lived there. So I answered the wrong one ad at it said administrative assistant, but I read through the description of the job and it sounded like more than that. And so I went in to interview with Philip Cook and David Drain, worked with FCSI when FCSI was just one organization around the world. And the title was actually supposed to be director of administration, not administrative assistant. And my background at that point, what I had done kind of fit what they were looking for. I didn't even know this career existed at that point, and was fortunate enough that I got the job. And I learned a lot from Philip, from Daniel, the two owners, and David and Nick, Greg, Matt, so many different people I hung out with there. And we had a great crew of people at that company. And we managed multiple associations. I left that, unfortunately, to come back to Illinois. And at the time, my wife and I kind of knew that maybe my father-in-law wasn't feeling very well. We weren't sure what was going on. So we moved back to Illinois, to Central Illinois, where we both grew up. And shortly after we moved back, he got sick and then passed away from cancer about a year after that. So there's no associations in Bloomington, Illinois, essentially. So I went to work for universities. So I worked in the meeting planning department of Illinois State. Then I went down the street and became director of conferences at Illinois Wesleyan University. Did that for a while in Central Illinois. Then I got sort of recruited down to Vanderbilt University to become director of conferences there. Was there a couple years. My wife got transferred in 2006. We moved to Birmingham, Alabama from Nashville, Tennessee. And I didn't have a job. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I was lost a little bit. So I just started reaching out to everyone that I knew from my career, in every job that I'd had. Got very fortunate at that time that Scott Legg, who was running FCSI worldwide at the time, needed somebody to do event planning and looking for somebody to do sales of sponsorships and magazine advertising for the consultant magazine. And
Cool.
they wanted somebody to do it on their own, not to be an employee. So I set up my company, and that was 2006. And for the first 4 years, I just did event planning and ad sales, sponsorship sales. 2010, I had the opportunity to take over FCSI, the Americas full service management company. and I didn't look back from that point. And then they were a little bit of a mess when I took over, and we got that fixed. And in 2012, I started adding a couple more clients. And so now we have 3 clients. 2 are statewide, Illinois, and then FCSI, North and South America. So it's been a long journey, but I wouldn't trade anything for the world. It's been a great journey so far.
Oh, I love it, Wade. Just in case you were wondering, Allison Cody is in the house.
Oh. All right, it's been nice talking to you, Jason. Time to go.
Oh, the jesting back and forth tonight will be legendary. This is awesome. Tom Stritch, the key to success, never join an easy crowd. Tom, that's a great comment. I've never heard that, but I love it.
I do too.
Heck yeah. Eve is in the house. Hi, Eve. Good to see you, friend. This is awesome.
Hi, Eve.
Chelsea, such a fun way to get to know industry friends. Really enjoy these. Chelsea, we love that you're here. I love it.
I agree, Jason. She's right on the mark on that one. I love these.
Man, they're like my favorite getting to know people. You know, someone said once, one of the predictors to some degree of success for people, I think I heard it from a guy named Brendan Burchard, was the ability to get dropped into a room of people who are kind of like above you in some way and become comfortable there. And when they did research on it, they said the people that typically fared the best are those who like to ask questions, who like to learn about other people. So if you can go around and just ask a lot of questions and learn people, you can get comfortable in lots of different groups of people. Rick, what's up, man? I think I said hi earlier, but hi.
Didn't acknowledge me.
Oh, snap. Oh, man. I'm in trouble on my next Nashville trip. Andre Teleguz is here. Hi there. How are you? This is awesome. Okay, so Wade, go ahead.
I love what you said, because when you drop somebody in, it's like my height then. Everybody's taller than me, which is kind of nice. It is kind of for me like that. But also, the other thing about it, and I think what our industry is really good about, and you hear a lot of people say this, so it's not revolutionary, but you don't be afraid to talk to anybody. Like, nobody is really above you. I don't care. You could talk. I will talk to the CEO as well as I'll talk to, the sales manager, as much as I'll talk to the janitor. Everybody is somebody interesting to get to know too. And I think that's why it sucked me back into this industry as well with FCSI. The second time around now is everybody kind of feels that way. There's I know there is some hierarchy, but really everybody, it doesn't matter whether you've been, for me, whether they've been a consultant, whether a CEO of one of the manufacturers that are members. I try to treat everybody the same, and I'll talk to them the same way too. Like you said in your opening, I'm an open book. So it's just, we're all human beings when it comes down to it.
You had said when we talked, and this is a question I had later, but that one of the things you love is being a connector. That when I'm jumping around with questions, but so if someone comes to one of your events, and you love putting on events, we'll talk more about that. That if they can come up to you and say, you know what, I've been here for 24 hours now or 40 hours, I haven't met anybody. And there's people that aren't comfortable putting themselves out there and walking into a group of people and saying, hey, I'm Jason or whatever. You want them to come find you, and you're just going to grab them by the arm and take them around and introduce them. What is it about connecting people, bring them together that you love so much?
I mean, well, when you're at an event, especially, that you'll learn as much from those networking events as you do from anything I can give you education wise. Mm-hmm. I can give you 10 educational sessions every day, and you're going to learn a little bit from those too, but you will learn as much, if not more, from the people you meet at night. And you're right. Not everybody is comfortable. So I tell people, especially newcomers, first time attendees, whatever, come find me, come find anybody on my staff. And if you're scared or if you're nervous, I'll walk you around. I'll introduce you to the board. I'll introduce you to the consultants I know. I've been doing this a long time. I know everybody so well that I don't, if, for example, I'll stroke a few egos, but if somebody's been around for a long time, somebody like a Bill Caruso that's been president twice and been around a long time, and maybe if you're a consultant, maybe you know of him, or a Bill Eaton or somebody, you may not have the guts to walk up to them, maybe thinking that you're not equal or you're not worthy or whatever it might be. That's quite frankly not true. But so when I take you up and I say, hey, this is Bill, I don't to me, he's just still Bill. I've traveled with him. I've gotten to know him personally. I mean, and most of those people, I try to get to know everybody anyway. So I think that's what being an event planner is all about. And being an association executive, I think that's all we do. That's all we're supposed to do. We're supposed to teach you education and then connect you with the people to learn from each other. And if I do that, I've done my job. So I think it's great though. When you look, I go to conferences myself that are in my industry, and you go for those connections you've made. You keep going back for those connections you made. If you don't make a connection, you're probably not coming to the next event.
Yeah.
And maybe not even going to stay a member.
That's a key thing to realize. You can educate the heck out of people, like you said, but you need to help people form and build those relationships with people they can trust.
Yeah, absolutely. We all go through those.
Yeah, it's absolutely. There's times where I feel connected. There's times where I don't. But anymore, it's those relationships that are they're the highlight of anything I do in my, in anything I'm doing. All pants go on the same way. Well said. Well said, Rick. I'm a consultant, a good one too. I believe, my friend. I love it. Street smarts versus book smarts. Experience versus paper. Those relationships, those connections, that ability to connect with someone and build trust relatively quickly and is a key to, the amount of projects and opportunities I get to be a part of because of that relational side, even outside, before I ever talk about cow mill or food service power plant, they're exponentially more important than, any of the catalog stuff.
Well, when you get to talk to people at a conference and you're in those conversations where it's at the bar or around a round table or whatever it might be, that's where you're going to find out a lot of times people that have similar problems to you, that all of a sudden, if you're a small business owner, like especially with FCSI, most of our members, 80% of our members in North and South America are small business owners. So if you're a small business owner, when you find somebody that's going through the same thing you are, and now all of a sudden you've got a major connection because they understand what they're going through. You can all of a sudden talk about, well, what worked for you? What didn't work for you? And then they know somebody, so then they bring somebody in because they know that they talked to them about this. And so hopefully that circle around you just continues to grow and grow and grow. And so I hope people feel comfortable enough to do that. You can't, not everybody will. And some people, even if you lead them to the people, they'll still cower in the corner, and there's not much you can do for those other than just I will find when we find somebody really shy like that, I've been very fortunate that I've had great staff working for me over the years. We will go out of our way then to try to make them feel welcome for the rest of their time. Let them hang out with us then. If they feel more comfortable with us because we're just a staff member, come on, have fun, let's party.
Heck yeah, that's a great attitude to take. Create a safe place for anybody. And to speak to that, Kevin says, FCSI TAD staff is fantastic. Way to select it and built a great team.
Thanks, Kevin.
Well said, Kevin. I love it. Rick saying, look at the connections through. Yeah, Rick and I connected through my dad and the work they did 30 years ago together. I love it. It's friggin' great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Allison, totally agree. Making connections at conferences keeps people coming back, not the education. Yeah, 100%.
Well, and I said earlier I was going to stroke a couple egos. I will say that I can sit back and watch Dee and Allison work their rooms just like I work my rooms. And, they were doing it in their industries before I was back with FCSI. So to be able to watch what they're able to do and to watch those ladies work a room with their members, it makes you learn from watching that as much as anything I do myself too. So that's the only nice thing I'm going to say about Allison tonight, but nonetheless, I have to give her props for that.
Well, Allison, look at that. Some kudos. That's awesome. And way to go, Wade, to dig deep into that bag of all the stories you have and pull out something positive. That's awesome of you.
Yes. I'm being very nice.
Okay, you did a great job, you and FCSI, when COVID hit, of, pivoting, of changing and you started telling stories. of your members and doing your happy hours. Can you tell like what your thinking was in that, and has that changed some of the direction of how you all communicate amongst yourselves and your voice to the industry?
Yeah, what would happen, what I noticed, I mean, again, we're all, FCSI is a lot of small business owners. So I had board members, I had regular members that I've known for years calling, going, hey, what are you hearing here? What's going on there? And so what I realized was people just wanted to talk.
Yeah.
And so immediately, and it wasn't revolutionary. Other associations were doing this too, but and the first happy hour we did with FCSI didn't go that well. We thought, okay, well, let's open it up to anybody that wants to come in, but we're going to control the microphone. You got to put your hand up if you want to say something. Well, Eric Norman, who's the chair of FCSI the Americas, and I realized very quickly in that first hour that this isn't working. People were too afraid to raise their hand to say something, or the conversations were getting off quickly instead of extending it a little bit longer. So then we decided probably halfway through that first happy hour just to open up all the mics and let it be a free for all and just ask people to be respectful of stepping over each other, even though it's impossible not to do it when you're on a Zoom call. But what I found is, especially a year ago, almost to the T, all they wanted to do was talk. And at that point, it was a little bit about, hey, what's going on in your neck of the woods? Is it getting as bad as you think it is? But it was also a lot of fear in people's voices and a lot of fear in people's faces about this was bigger than we expected. Nobody knew it was still going to be as big as it was, but it was more serious than I think anybody had ever seen. And we were shutting down, and we'd never seen people just shut down restaurants completely and shut down other shopping centers and everything else. So in the beginning, it was more about just letting people talk. And we had some topics and things that we would bring up, but we're just trying to, and to this day, we still do it once a month where it's a happy hour, free for all, talk about whatever you want. We come with maybe a few questions that people have submitted, but we don't bring a lot of preconceived questions. Just because I want it to be a free-for-all conversation. The other thing I learned very quickly in the first, let's say after probably 4 weeks, a lot of members didn't know each other as well as they thought they did because they were being a little more personal on the video calls and like I said, you could tell some of the fear and stuff. So people were being a little bit more personal than usual. So then I had people private messaging me within Zoom going, hey, who is this? Who's this Rick Palmer guy? I've never seen him, or I don't know him, or who is this consultant and who is that consultant? And quite honestly, there was a few people on our calls that even I didn't know. And I've been around for 10 years now as executive director. So then from that point, I said something I kicked around for a while was a podcast with Zoom. What I referred to and what kind of was told to me was dirty video, which is kind of what we're doing now and kind of what I did with the On Tap series. You don't have to be completely professionally done every single time. So I decided, let's get to know the consultants better and just have some fun with them a little bit while we're at it. And so we just decided to come up with this On Tap series. We went out and did a logo development. We created this thing. And then I went down and with a production company and filmed a lot of episodes in 2 days. Wow. And then every week since the beginning of January, we've been releasing an On Tap series, and people seem to like it. It's not going viral, but it's still a lot of views, and we just started advertising it now on the web to a lot of different places. So the views are starting to go up. Even for shows that came out in January are getting more and more views again. So, again, what's it about? Connecting. And what I love about the On Tap series is we randomly chose people. So it wasn't just the people I knew or just staff knows. We went out and completely randomly chose the people that were going to be on the first season, which is 26 people. And so I got to know people I didn't know at all. I got to talk to people and learn more about them. Even the people I thought I really knew, I got to learn a bit more about. We always ended a series with either a speed round or we end it with a would you rather, which is just stupid off the wall questions. And so it was always fun to see people's reactions to that. And we're gonna do season 2 here soon, and people seem to like them. I hope people enjoy them. I know I had a lot of fun doing them. I'm looking forward to the next 26 people I'm going to talk to. And I've got a couple ideas for doing other things besides just the video podcasts as it stands now. I've got a few ideas that I might do a few special episodes at NAFM.
Oh, awesome. I think that personal side, it's, I don't know. I don't know that it's ever something I didn't think was there or available to people I knew, but I would agree that that has been getting to know people like what you and I are doing right now. Frankly, it's
Yeah.
we're not just here only talking about FCSI and what's your strategy and what's your plan. We're getting to know Wade, and a lot of people
Yeah.
want to get to know Wade. They want to get to know people. Who are these people that are our leaders? Okay, this is awesome. By the way,
Yeah.
you might have seen Rick. Looks forward to happy hour. He feels a lot closer to many of the consultants. Well done. Way to pick up on that, and great job. This
Rick's a
is
prime example. Rick is a prime example of somebody that I didn't know very well.
yeah.
He, I knew of him. I probably ran into him once or twice, but I didn't really know him. But he's been on almost every single happy hour. So then I really got to know him and talk to him and hear his thoughts and processes and stuff. And we tried to get him on season one. He was actually one of the random one chosen, but his schedule got in the way. Damn it. So we'll try to get him on season two now. But he's a great example of somebody that I personally have gotten to know over the last 12 months much better than I knew him prior to that.
I love it. Me too. Me too. This is who is this? Oh, this is Andre Telugu's. My favorite part is coming back from the conferences with new ideas, approaches, solutions to challenges, new perspectives. Heck yes. And when people are willing to be vulnerable at these conferences, all your peers around you, I learn more there than anywhere else. When I'm around my other people who do what I do and I can ask questions and pick brains, that's a great comment. I love it, Andre.
Yeah, I agree.
This is D. Where is it? Oh, come on. D, my favorite part, I think this is D, right? Oh, no, this is D. That's the best part of our jobs. We learn from each other's and our members. Heck
Yep,
yes.
I agree.
Always learning. Who's that? Oh, this is Jeff Griffiths. I love Jeff down in Texas. He's a rep in Texas. Made some big moves in COVID. Congrats, Jeff, on a lot of your changes. I love all this. It's so true that connection is everything. Clearly, Wade has a great plan for that. Allison has 100% transformed the culture of MOFSI. And Jason, you're doing an exceptional job providing a place for people to collaborate, celebrate, feel good. Awesome, Jeff. We're glad you're here, brother. This is awesome. Absolutely. Kevin, FCSI on tap allows consultants to really let the world know who they are. Some fun facts about members. I would agree with you, Kevin, because for anyone on the heavy equipment side of the industry, Wade, they work with consultants. That's one of their significant customers. That's who you're working with. Yeah. But if you're not on the heavy equipment side, you might not even really understand what a consultant does. If you're on the small wares or the tabletop or that side of the world, or maybe if you're even, you're working in a restaurant, you have no idea where these things begin. And so I think it's also, in addition to getting to know personally the members, I think it's also a great way to be like, what is this part of the industry that I didn't understand all that much?
Yeah, I think, we're trying to keep them down. I could have done an hour with everybody easily. Because I could have gone deeper into the consulting side of things and the design side and the management sides. And, but I also didn't want it to be where I wanted people to try to watch them because they weren't going to be live. And I also wanted people to listen to them on Spotify or Apple or wherever where they're going to listen to podcasts if they weren't watching it. So we're trying to hit that sweet spot of like 12 to 20 minutes. And so there's only so much you can squeeze in there in a season for that. But, and I wanted to make sure the personal side came out as well, because I think that's more important nowadays than the professional side. My goal for the whole thing was, one, get to know the consultant better, but two, it also becomes a little bit of a member benefit for the FCSI member, because now they're the whole episode. Their firm is mentioned. They are mentioned about what some of their philosophies are, what kind of projects they work on, and then they can promote themselves, and we promote, how to get in touch with them more. So it helps a member benefit as well as helping FCSI marketing as well as the name FCSI. Like I said, you also learn very quickly how passionate people are about some dumb things like, is a toilet paper roll supposed to go over or under? Because some of the people got angry about that. Like, you're an anarchist if you're under a roller or something. So it was fun for those things, and that's what it should have been. And then you also found out some of the people what they believed in double dipping, and so now you know some of the consultants to stay away from at the table. So
Avoid the double dippers. And by the way, I mean, there is a right answer on the toilet paper question. Is there
of
not?
course, yeah, it's over.
Oh my gosh, yes, of course it's over.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
yeah, I knew we were going to be buddies, Wade. I knew it.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Rick agrees. Love it. Love to explain what consultant does, as I like Wade enjoy teaching others what I know and how we can help each other. Heck yeah, man! I bet you'd be a
I
great
agree.
teacher, Rick.
I agree.
Okay, so let's talk you. When you aren't doing the things that you do for our industry, and you aren't managing associations, when you aren't connecting people and doing everything that you do for FCSI, what do you do to go and you've got a family, you can talk about that, but what do you go do to find joy? What are your hobbies? What do you love?
I like to play golf first and foremost. I'm a big golf fan. I'm a big golf fan. I'm a very mediocre golf player, but I still enjoy doing it. I like to lift weights if I could actually learn to eat healthy. Actually, it's not learning. Actually, it's just eating healthy. I'd probably be in decent shape, but I love to lift weights. And then I do love hanging out with my family. I mean, my wife and I have been married for almost 26 years and dated for a few years before that. We're very, very good friends. Meaning like we love hanging out with each other, and I've got two amazing kids that are both 17. They're not twins. My daughter is 7.5 months older than my son. She was adopted, and we brought her home from the hospital at 3 days old. And before she was born on a Saturday, on that Thursday, we heard the heartbeat of our son. And so then 7.5 months later, my wife gave birth to our son. And that was enough for us because we didn't think we were ever going to have kids. So, but I've been great. They're both great kids. They're both doing fantastic. And, that I will say, watching the younger kids like that, COVID's been rough on them. They both felt isolated at times, not being able to get together with friends or not being able to go to the mall or not being able to just, go be themselves. There's a year of childhood robbed from a lot of kids over the last year. And that was, as a parent and as an adult, that was hard to watch because they were really lost. And that was tough to go through, I think, for a lot of people. It was tough enough for the adults too, obviously, but they lost out on school time. They lost out on athletics. They lost out on extracurriculars, all those things. And, school this year has been better with the virtual. They kind of figured it out. But last year in March, I mean, the schools weren't prepared for any of this. So they pretty much lost everything last year. I mean, from March to May, they tried to do virtual, but it was not working. And they go to a pretty large high school my daughter's done now, but they had like 2,600 kids in their high school. So, I mean, it was tough for that school to adapt quickly. And, but they're doing great now. And now that they can kind of get back out and such, it's fun, but it was tough to watch for a while.
Oh man.
But they're fun. They're great now. And we're all great now. And everybody stayed healthy through the whole thing. And they're just, again, I love hanging out with them. So whether it's playing video games or I don't really play video games with my son because I can't keep up with him. But getting killed at video games by my son or just being
target practice, dad's target practice.
Yeah, exactly. Or just being the obnoxious, embarrassing father to my daughter. So that's fun too.
The other day my kids have still been in school and I was picking Haley up and she was walking out and I just started doing this dance thing because I know it's like her worst nightmare. And she just looked down and like went the other way to try to get to my car totally without having to walk by me or acknowledge I was a person.
That's awesome.
Connected to her. Oh yeah. More of that to come, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You talked about both of your kids and that they're 7 months apart. And when you and I were talking, we talked about challenges. That it's easy for someone young to come into the industry and look at people running associations. You know, there's you, D, Allison, et cetera, so many leaders, and think not understand the things that everyone's had to fight through and work through and overcome, and the steps back that have been taken and the tears shed. And you had shared a couple with me. And do you mind sharing just a little bit of, you know, your kids and how you end up where you've got one adopted child and one
Yeah.
natural birth child, 7 months apart? Would you mind sharing a personal one and a professional one, things that you overcame?
Yeah, well, personal. I mean, we went through. I mean, wife and I are not shy about talking about it. We didn't think we are going to have kids. JD, my son, was pregnancy number 7, so we had 6 miscarriages before that. 3 of them were molar pregnancies, which are very, very rare to have more than one. My wife had potentially 3. The molar pregnancies require chemotherapy, so
Oh.
she had to go through that. So then after that, we would have to wait a year to try again. And then, so we had gotten to the point where we just said, enough's enough. We don't want to do this anymore. The emotional roller coaster was too much, and decided, we'll look into adoption. And if that works out, great. If it doesn't, then we're going to be the cool aunt and uncle, and we'll be fine. We knew. Look, I'm not going to lie and say that there weren't some rough times where we both looked at each other and thought that, are we right together? Are we, but we kept telling each other, it's like, we'll get through this. But you start to doubt yourself even in those areas. Like, look, we didn't know, with all of our miscarriages, nobody knew what was causing it to go wrong. So there was no blaming of either one of us. So we were blaming ourselves, both of us. So, we went through some rough times there, but we came through them with flying colors on that. And then we decided we'll try the adoption thing. We sent out our Christmas letter the year before our daughter was born, was a letter from us, basically a marketing piece, if you will, honestly, to all the OB-GYNs and Planned Parenthoods and everybody else in Central Illinois, plus all of our friends and family throughout the United States. And we sent everybody 3 flyers and said, hey, if you know anybody, then let us know. Like I said, we heard, so our doctor, her doctor, OB, called in January of 2003 and said, hey, how's it going? Just doing a check-in with her. He'd written papers about her at this point because he'd never had anybody have more than one molar pregnancy. So we loved our doctor because he was very straightforward with us too. We were a freak of nature to him. Together. So I love that. And so he called and said, what are you guys going to do? And we're like, we're done trying. It's, appreciate everything. He's like, oh, it's too bad. I had a good feeling about the next one. And my wife got off the phone. She's like, what do I do with that? He's never said anything positive like that with us. And so we said, well, I looked at her and said, look, it's your body. You're the one that's had to go through chemotherapy. I've got the easy job in this one. If you want to try again, we can try. If not, I'm fine with that too. We tried again and heard the heartbeat, like I said earlier, heard the heartbeat of our son on a Thursday. Saturday morning, got a call that this doctor in Central Illinois delivered a little girl, and we were first on his list. And we had I think 4 hours to get back in touch with him. And so we did a private adoption ourselves and brought her home 3 days old. And like I said, 7.5 months he was born. And man, life changed. Whew. It was, again, add water, instant family for us. But looking back, it's been fantastic. So
Wow.
I will tell you that it wasn't long after he was born that there was make sure that was never going to happen again. It was, you're going to take care of that, Wade. We're not doing this again. So,
Gosh, well, I mean,
yeah.
I have a feeling there's some tears being shed around the country right now. That's an unbelievable as Allison said, that's amazing. And kudos to you both for working through those hard things and those thoughts and saying, you know what, we're going to come out of this together and making damn sure it happened.
Yeah. And I won't glorify I won't glorify and say the adoption part hasn't been hard at times. I mean, we've dealt with the birth mother phase. We've dealt with some more heartache on that side. I won't go into that because that's her story to tell, not mine. But we love her to death. She loves us to death. We're mom and dad, always will be. Um, so it's been great, and they're brother and sister, man. They're just like any brother and sister. They fight, they argue,
Yeah.
they love each other. So it's no different. And on the professional side of things, where my biggest thing I had to go through was I didn't know I was going. I didn't know association management existed. Hell, I didn't know event planning existed. I was going to be a pharmacist. I went to pharmacy school out of high school. I went to St. Louis College of Pharmacy. Got down there, realized there is no way in hell I want to do this for a living. Um, Within 3 months, I knew I'd made a mistake, and I was at a pharmacy school. So it wasn't like I was at the University of Iowa as another one of them I looked at and such. So I couldn't just change directions.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, if I got to be here, I might as well have a lot of fun. So I definitely enjoyed my freshman year in St. Louis. Camped out for opening tickets for the Cardinals. Went to almost every home game that spring, and then came home after I'd been asked not to come back to St. Louis College of Pharmacy because my grades were so bad. So basically, I flunked out of pharmacy school and came home with my tail between my legs, not sure what I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that my parents were I'm an only child, so can't say my parents were very happy with me. And my dad just said, you got to figure out what you're going to do. And so I started community college that fall. My head wasn't in it. So I quit community college. So at that point, my parents thought, all right, well, this kid's lost now for a
Hmm.
while. But I never lost my way. I mean, I was down on myself at times, but never terribly down on myself. I always believed in myself that there was something out there.
Yeah.
And so I took a semester off, bartended at age 19, because in the state of Illinois, it was 19. Um, and I bartended, so I was in the restaurant industry again. I loved doing that, and then went back to school that next spring to community college, got my GPA up, and then transferred to a school where one of my best friends from high school had gone and convinced me to come over and take a look at it. Small private liberal arts college called Eureka College. Its claim to fame is it's the alma mater of President Reagan. And I love the little campus. I love the size of it. So I transferred there and then just had a great time there and got good grades and enjoyed it. And that's where I met my wife. So a lot of good things. If I don't flunk out of pharmacy school, I don't meet the love of my life. So there you go.
I
Things happen
love
for
it.
reasons.
Way to find the good in it. Kevin asked not to come back. I love that version of the story.
Well, when you have a 1.11 GPA, they kind of have a tendency to say that you're probably not in the right field. So,
You know what? You could have just argued. I thought it was out of like 1.5 or 2. No one told me it was out of 4 for crying out loud.
yeah, I thought I was doing awesome. It was above a 1.
I am overachieving. This, by the way,
Yeah.
is Rachel Weaver from CIFA. Rachel, we're glad to have you. Yeah, that's a lot of vulnerability, Wade. This is Glenn Lawless with Metro. It's really appreciate it. There's a lot of people that have stories like that for whatever reason they carry some they carry some anxiety about sharing those moments, or they carry some shame, or whatever it is.
Man, I told you I'm an open book. Because I don't know if it kind of goes back to the meeting people and connecting people. If my story ever helps somebody get through what they're going through and they want to talk more, man, reach out. I'll talk with you. I'll help you through it. I mean, we're all human beings. So we all, what I hate about mental health, what I hate, and I think we're getting better at it as a human society, but it's so deep out there. We all go through our dark phases, and some go through much more dark phases. But more people go through it than ever known. Like, I didn't know anything about miscarriages or molar pregnancies. And next thing you know, you start telling your story. And I've met so many women over my career that when I share my story, like, oh my God, I know somebody that had that too. Or I went through, and then all of a sudden there's women telling you how many miscarriages they had that would never share that with,
Yeah.
especially a guy like me. And then go, and the next thing you know, you've got that personal connection. But for me, it's therapeutic to talk through it. I'm not a guy that bottles my stuff up. I'd rather talk about it.
Well, and the gift of that, one of your gifts, I would say, to the industry is that every time you open a little bit more of yourself to people to say, look, this is who I am. This is just my real story. It gives someone else who hasn't felt that freedom the same freedom to trust you in a new way, to be like, wow, Wade is this industry leader who's opening up to all of us. Maybe I can open up a little bit more, and maybe I can,
Yeah,
that creates new connection for them with whoever they trust, etc.
yeah.
It's a gift you're opening for other people in sharing your story.
I'm sure there's part of my family at times would be like, "Would you just shut up?" But they understand.
Well, we're taking it as a gift. This is awesome. Who is this? This is our buddy Taz in Arkansas. Taz, good to see you, brother. Inspiring. Jeff Griffiths, what up, brother? Man, Wade, I love it. Okay, is there a? I'm a big believer in inherited strength, and what I mean by that is people speak into our lives, things that we may or may not know exist. And in those
Mhm.
moments where maybe you exited college with a 1.1, someone said, you know what, Wade, but you've got a lot of gifts you didn't recognize. There's people that speak life into us in strength and truth that sometimes we need. We need to hear those words, and they encourage us along the way to keep going, to keep trying. Do you have a couple people like that in your story?
Yeah, I've got a few. I'm very fortunate that there are three guys that I grew up with. And there's a little bit more than that, but there's four of us that I moved to the town that I grew up in, a very small town, like I said earlier, and four in third grade. So four of us have gone to school with each other all the way through third grade, through high school, and stayed very close friends. To this day, uh, many years later, we still talk almost once a week between the four of us guys. We've all gone through things together, and so I'm an only child, so and kind of all four of us were sort of that way. Um, one of my best friends that only had an older sister, no brothers. Another one had his older brothers were out of high school or out of the house before he was in junior high. Another one didn't have any brothers either, so we're all brothers to each other
Mm-hmm.
in a way. They picked me up at times when I needed it, like when I came back from pharmacy school, and so one of them I went to pharmacy school with. He was kind of the guy that would call me out, like you're just screwing off, and I deserved that. But then I had they all were still loving of it. But
Yeah.
and then I had other guys that when I came back, were just got me through being down on myself, and then the other one of my best friends is the one that convinced me to go to Eureka College. He said, "Hey, I think you're going to like it here. It's different. It's more like a bigger high school from where we went, and so I think you're going to like it here." And talked me into going there. And so again, to this day, we're still great friends. Um, the person that challenges me the most, I mean, quite honestly, inspires me, but also challenges me and supports whatever I do is my wife. I mean, I've chased my dreams, and she's chased hers. We've moved around a little bit. It wasn't the easiest times. We didn't stay put. We're kind of a running joke to our friends and family of like, well, how long are you going to stay in this house? But we followed our dreams everywhere we went. So, my dream of going to a bigger school and working was going to Vanderbilt University to take over their department. And I had a lot of success there. And then starting my company, she was very supportive of that. And when that took off, she was working for a large corporation, wasn't enjoying it. We were paying more in childcare than we were on our mortgage in Alabama. And she wanted to go back and get her PhD. So I said, all right, let's go. Let's quit your job and let's go. And she was making very good money. And but we moved back to Illinois from Alabama so she could get her PhD. And then we chased that, and she got that done. And so, it's I'm very blessed and very fortunate to have somebody a partner like that um, I she supports me, I support her. We challenge each other to be better people, and I get to sleep in the same bed with her every night too, which doesn't hurt. So
Is there a that's amazing, by the way. I love that you're both willing to, you both have moments where you're rising and pursuing
yeah,
something, and it's cool that, maybe sometimes they're at the same time and you've got to make choices that are harder. But when you're bobbing and weaving at different times, you're pursuing things that someone's willing to be like, hey, I'm willing to put some stuff down for a little bit. Let's let you go do this right now. That's a real
Yep.
gift. I don't think many couples know how to do that very well.
I agree. I'm very, very fortunate. Like I said, I got lucky. As I say to a lot of people, I outpunted my coverage quite largely. So
What a gift. I love it. Okay. A couple, what else? Okay. Define the way you speak of your life, relationships, family, career, lots of ways that people could look at you and say, a successful person right there. Wade's a successful person. How would you define success? What does success really mean to you?
for me, it's about some of it's personal pride. Are my clients doing well? Are they happy? That's part of it, and not just money wise, not just, but are things moving forward? Are they doing well? Are people happy? If not, what's going to take to get there? The other side of it is, if it's the people, and I keep going back to that with a lot of things, but if everything went to hell tomorrow, do I have enough people that I could call on and say, hey, I need some help? Would I have help out there? Would I be surrounded by people that would help me find the next thing that's going to challenge me in my life, or the next thing that's going to get me up off the floor if everything went to shit tomorrow? And I think success is more about the people than it is the money. More it is about, the notoriety. More it is about being, a nice guy or whatever. It's more about, if it all went bad tomorrow, would I have people there to help me?
Yeah, I think that's an amazing answer, and probably only speaks, I'm sure the answer is yes, and speaks
Yeah.
to the life that you've poured into those. People aren't going to be willing to come step into your world and pick you up when you're down if you haven't offered that to the people in your community as well.
Well, it's worked for me. I mean, I'm back with FCSI because I didn't burn bridges when I left the first time. I'm back because I just reached out blindly to say, hey, anybody need anything? And I got lucky enough that at that point, right place, right time. But hey, if I don't know Scott Legg at that point, and he's not looking for that person at that point, I'm not with FCSI right now,
Yeah.
and I maybe not be doing association management right now. So it all, because of those relationships, it all came back to me, and it was great to come back. No, it was easier to come back to FCSI because there were still a lot of the same people. I was very fortunate with that. A lot of the same consultants, a lot of the same manufacturers. So coming back to it were some of the same people that I knew from before, and I'd been gone only for 7 years, so it wasn't gone long, but it had changed significantly. FCSI, when I worked the first time, was one worldwide organization, one board, barely global. And then when I came back, it was 3 division. There's a global worldwide headquarters based out of Kentucky, and then there's the 3 divisions now. So, and I just manage the Americas, but there's also Asia, Pacific, and Europe, Africa, Middle East. So it's a much different looking organization than when I came back, than I left.
Wow, good for you. I love that it's working, and thanks for the ways that you invest.
Yeah.
Favorite movie that makes you cry?
Oh. That's tough. I don't really watch much that brings me down anymore. So
Oh, it can be
uh,
happy tears.
I was gonna say, let's go to something like, I just watched it again the other night. I can never get enough of it. I love Dodgeball. It's still one of my favorites, even though I've seen it a million times. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. The whole Justin Long getting pelted with balls segment still makes me laugh very heavily, especially now that over the years you learn that was really rough for Justin Long, the actor, because they had that machine dialed up as hard as it would go, and they didn't know that they weren't supposed to. So when Vince Vaughn came back the next to do his, it was coming at him too fast, and so he's like, slow this down, we can speed it up on the film. And they're like, well, Justin was just here and did it for like 35 minutes straight. So that makes me laugh harder even now. So
Do you think that could be an event at one of your conferences someday?
Dodgeball?
Like what if who can hang the longest if we're just pelting you with really fast tennis balls or something like that?
Oh,
Or dodgeball. What if there was an FCSI conference game, a massive game of dodgeball?
ooh, that could be brutal. That'd be that'd be fun.
Waivers might need to be signed, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, it would definitely need to be signed. So actually, I did a site visit to San Diego for a regional years ago, and while we were there getting ready for the event, they had a dodgeball tournament going on, and so some of the NFL pros from the Chargers were there and everything else, and it was on top of the roof and stuff. It was serious business. It was literally like watching dodgeball. It was a lot of fun. So I got to see it live too.
Holy cow, that's awesome. Silent dodgeball.
That's that's me. That's her throwback to me doing a silent disco at an
Oh,
event.
I was at that event. That was rad.
You were
In
at that
Denver.
event?
It was in Denver.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Silent
Oh my
disco.
gosh.
Probably the most nervous I've ever been doing a single event because I really didn't think people would enjoy it. I didn't think people would understand it, and I really thought this could be a big bomb, and it turned out incredibly well.
Crushed it.
It's the only event that I still have people tell me I have to repeat, and I don't. As an event planner, I don't like to repeat things, but I will repeat that one.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yes, ESPN, the
The
Echo,
Ocho.
Sandy says. Oh, the Ocho.
The
What is that?
Ocho. That's ESPN 8, the Ocho from Dodgeball.
Oh, I need to watch this. What was this, like late 90s? Is Dodgeball late 90s?
Probably early 2000s, actually.
Early 2000s? All right. I need
Vince
to go back
Vaughn,
and watch it.
Justin Long. It's a very, it's, yeah, um, I can't think of his name now, but it was great. It's a great movie. You have to watch it.
So good. I'm going to go back. Yeah, Allison loved it. Rick, fruit ball. I have been to a fruit ball, one or two fruit balls in my day.
Yeah, I have two.
They're,
Those are brutal.
they are brutal, man. They're late. God
Yeah.
bless it. Oh,
That
Ben
too.
Stiller.
Ben Stiller. Thank you. Yes.
There you go. Well played, Sandy. Sandy's on it. Okay, couple things, and we're gonna wrap it up. Wade. You are probably one of the most well liked, respected people in the industry. I reached out to a few people, and just here's what some of your colleagues say. This is our friend D. Yeah, get ready for it. Wait for it. Allison is going to take you out at the knees.
That's a pretty low blow if you know how short I am.
Deirdre, Wade puts his heart and soul into all he does. He's constantly looking to raise the bar, silent disco, on education, on networking, on information sharing, and continually raises the bar for all of us. And he makes it fun. That's a key word tonight. His conferences are memorable, not only for the hospitality that he creates, but for his new pair of sneakers. So lucky I'm get to work with him. Tell me about the sneakers, Wade.
I 2015 symposium at NAFM in Anaheim. I went out and bought a brand new, or no, I take that back. 14 in Phoenix. I went out and bought a brand new pair of white sneakers before the conference, and so I had them at Phoenix. It was the first conference that I had ever got as FCSI when I came back that I planned the site visit. I picked the hotel. We're doing all the events, and I changed the entire schedule of the conference. So a lot of things changed in that one. Got rid of the official banquet anymore, so there was no more formal banquet. There was a lot of things we did differently. I knew it was a risk, but I was willing to do it. I had a great conference planning committee that supported it as well. So I wore white sneakers, and it went phenomenal, better than I could have thought. And people loved it, and I had a lot of kudos from it. Manufacturers as well as consultants, talking about how much better it was and how much fun they had. And so then since then, I've had brand new pair of white sneakers for every conference as a good luck charm. I don't think anybody really noticed it until Denver. Instead of a closing keynote like inspirational speaker, we hired a stand-up comedian. Um, and that was a risk too, but we figured why not? So we hired Tom Papa was his name, very famous comedian, very clean comedian. And he killed it, except I screwed up and forgot to bring something in for him to set water on before it started. So I had to bring it in quickly. And he saw my white sneakers and he zeroed in on those and he brought it up to everyone. And and he brought it up more than once in the hour-long set. So it was, they will live it. I will still wear them. I'm really disappointed we didn't have our conference in Austin because I have a pair of white sneakers that are going to blow everyone's mind, but I'll have to save those for another rainy day. So
now I'm going to be on notice looking for this, but here's my question about white sneakers. And maybe it's just I'm not sophisticated enough to think through this, but white sneakers, like, I don't know that I've ever really owned a pair of white sneakers. I always get like a darker color because when I'm walking around, they get dirty over time. Are white sneakers something that you essentially only wear indoors so that they don't get super dirty? Or are you just like, you know what, they're just going to get dirty. I buy them once every 2 years or once a year. It's okay.
They're going to get dirty. I wear them all the time, most of the time, I should say. And I have a bit of a shoe problem, Jason.
Oh.
So I would say there's a new pair every 6 months at least, if not more. So it's and I don't throw old ones away. So I have a very decent shoe collection. I'm not a sneakerhead as far as buying and selling them and keeping them in pristine condition. I believe to buy them to wear them. But they're always going to be white at a conference because I probably have only broken them in for about a week indoors before I go to that conference. After the conference, I don't care if they're ruined or not.
If I ever go the direction of white sneakers, I'm going to call you and be like, is this how, you're a pro at this.
Absolutely.
I feel like Dee has like a fear of shoes in her room at a conference. Do you remember this? Does this mean anything to you, or did you play that trick on her?
No, I think shoe boxes would be a fear of hers, especially if there was a ton of shoe boxes in her room when she got back to her room late at night. That could be a problem for her, I think. Especially if you could figure out something to go in the boxes to make noise and scare the living bejesus out of her.
I think she told us that story. Bedazzled. Yes. Bedazzled.
Yeah, they're not bedazzled. Trust me. They're better.
I don't even know what that means, but I need to use that word more. Like, I just know right in this moment, I need to use the word bedazzled.
You've never bedazzled your jeans? Like, oh yeah, bedazzles when you put all the jewels and stuff on your clothes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, that's going to be something I try to find a way to incorporate in my life. Allison, I love your face, Allison. You're the best. Okay, Kevin Coachman. Wade has transformed one of our important channel partners, FCSI, from the edge of extinction to a place of strength. He has steered FCSI into a fresh organization of experience, knowledge, fun, and youth. FCSI has a wide variety of strong voices, from the decades-old experience to the newer generation. Wade works to keep FCSI moving forward while keeping the many various members and allied partners very happy. He is all in on both FCSI as well as his family. When you're the owner-operator of your company, you have to find that work balance, and he manages to be very responsive to his members as well as pursuing goals for his family, such as making lacrosse an IHSA-sanctioned sport, which we need to talk about later. One of Wade's great traits is ability to laugh with everyone, even when it might be at his own expense. He is well known for the whitest sneakers at FCSI conferences. Oh, that is just awesome.
Yeah. That's very generous of Kevin to say. I appreciate that.
Well, you've got a friend. Allison Cody, she went high. When they go low, we go high, Allison. And Allison went high. Wade is one of the smartest, most generous, and caring people I know. I'm going to cry. I just always freaking cry. I am lucky to know him as both a colleague and a close friend. I know you guys are really good buddies. All of you.
Awesome. They all are. Yes, I agree.
Heck yeah. First, I hope someday we play dodgeball together. I'm just going to say that. I hope someday I'm wearing white shoes that make you proud. I hope someday to bedazzle something, and that Kevin's happy or Rick's happy, whoever. That'll be great. And Wade, listen, thanks for being an open book. There are people tonight
Absolutely.
who watched this and who are walking away different, and they're walking away a little bit more hopeful that whatever part of their story they've held back or they've been anxious to share, that they don't have to, because you're one of our industry's leaders and funnest and kindest people who's willing to bear it all. And so thanks for willing to be really vulnerable with us tonight.
Thank you. Absolutely. Like I am who I am, and you like it or love it or hate it. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to be me. So, and I love the haters as much as I love the lovers. So I'll take that.
Heck yeah, man. Own it. With bedazzled shoes, that's a power plant move. Someone's, that would be a fun power plant move. Well played.
You're gonna have to look up bedazzling. You might change your thought process on bedazzling.
Okay. Oh gosh, this is awesome. Okay, let me just real quick. That was Taz. Ask my daughter. Yeah, my daughter will certainly know. Wade is thanks. Wade is the man. Thank you, Jason and Wade. This is our buddy D. I can't see everybody's comments for some reason. Such a great honor to be with you both. Allison, love you, friend. Well done. Yes. You've got a lot of admirers. Rick, I feel like a better person knowing Wade. He has taught me much. Heck yes. I love it. Everyone, Wade and I are going to go in a second, but listen, let this be an encouragement to you. You've got two guys, frankly, who are fairly open books, willing to be honest about our journeys, our stories, because, frankly, when you work through things and you go through them, you don't have to be afraid of them anymore. You see them as something that, over time, there are parts of my story I wouldn't do again, but I see now as a gift. And I would guess Wade's probably the same way. He wouldn't go back and do that all over again, but it's a gift, and you learn.
Yeah. Yep.
And I hope that can be an encouragement for all of you. And, let this be a reminder. You are a year in, and we've all had hard parts of this year. Find a way and ask yourself this: what did I learn? What could I learn? Where's the gift here? Where's the opportunity? What risk did I survive that really I need to turn into confidence now because I made it? And let this take me to a new level of trying new things, or of believing in myself, or whatever that is. And, nothing to be afraid of in your story. Learn from it, look at it, talk through it with someone you trust, a safe place, and keep growing in it. Wade and I are grateful to be doing this with all of you. It has been almost a year that we've been doing the Food Service Power Plant Network together, and one of the joys of this unique journey for sure. So if you find yourself in a particularly tough place right now, of course you are. That's what you say to yourself. Of course I am. Because there's a part of your story that you're working through and you're figuring it out, and you're going to. Your job is just to keep moving. Wade just kept moving in those moments in time where he was asked to try something new, or in the challenges, or all these things. He kept going. He refused to stop believing in himself, even in those hard moments. And that's what we would encourage you to do as well. Keep going. Find your people. He's got his three buddies. They were like his brothers. They do life together. They still talking after 20, 30 years, however long it's been. Find your tribe. Lean on them. Let them be your... let them hold you up if you can't hold yourself up right now. Just do it. Own it. You're a part of something bigger. So keep going, everyone. Remember, for past conversations, this will be up on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and look up the Food Service Power Plant Network. You can go find all the conversations. So many of tonight's people who've been chiming in have been guests on our show. And you go find them. We all have stories. We all have stuff. And let it be an inspiration to you and a hope for all the things that your industry's leaders have overcome to help get them to this spot now. And you might look at your challenges a little bit different. So keep growing. Lots of love. Thanks for joining us. Wade, thanks again, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it, buddy. Everybody, see you soon. Have a good night. Bye.